Good day, guys. Today I'm going to read the Munoz text of Alcina's history of the Visayan Islands in the year of 1668, part 1, book 3. So, as I found online, this is a preliminary translation by Paul S. Lights of Loyola University. So it says here Philippine Studies Program, Department of Anthropology, University of Chicago. Forward. The Philippine Studies Program, in association with the Newberry Library and Paul S. Lights of Loyola University, is engaged in the translation and editing of the history of the islands and Indios of the Visayas, dated 1668 and written by Francisco Ignacio Alcina. S.J. Alcina based his extensive work on personal observations and on material collected during his more than 35 years residence in the Visayan Islands, particularly in Samar and Leyte. The manuscript, as we now know it, is divided into 7 books arranged in 2 parts. So the text used for translation and editing of the first part is that of Monnius' copy found in the library of the Royal Palace at Madrid. A microfilm of this text was obtained through the kindness of authorities of the government of Spain and Dr. Howard F. Klein of the Library of Congress. Professor Light's preliminary translation of the third book of Alcina's work reveals a remarkable full treatment of the language, culture, and religion of the Visayan peoples at the beginning of Spanish influence and the onset of Western acculturation during the following century. The translation is reproduced in this limited edition solely to provide work copy for purposes of editing and annotation and is not to be published or reproduced in any form, nor should it be coded or otherwise used without the consent of the director. The Philippine Studies Program is a cooperative enterprise of the Newberry Library, the Chicago Natural History Museum, and the Department of Anthropology of the University of Chicago, and is devoted to the increase of our knowledge and understanding of Philippine society and culture. It was established with a grant from the Carnegie Corporation. The Alcina project is supported by a grant from the Rockefeller Foundation. Fred Egan, Director, Philippine Studies Program, University of Chicago, July 15, 1960. Table of Contents. Chapter Number. Chapter 1. Concerning the Visayan language, whether perhaps it is one of the 72 primitive ones, of initial confusion, of its elegance, richness, exactness, and special characteristics. Chapter 2. Concerning the alphabet and method of writing of the Visayans, of the different and distinctive kinds of poetry in which they take pride. Chapter 3. Whether they were acquainted with some of the liberal arts and sciences, what they were, and with what proficiency they were known. Chapter 4. Concerning their music and peculiar instruments, of their arithmetic, and some beginnings of other sciences. Chapter 5, concerning agriculture, the method of working the soil and reaping its fruits, which these natives have employed and are now employing. Concerning other mechanical, Chapter 6, concerning other mechanical arts which they knew in ancient times and have preserved to the present with improvements. Chapter 7, I shall describe the looms of these natives and give account of other arts like the working of precious metals, which here are of gold alone, etc. Chapter 8, concerning the building of ships, such as these natives use, their shape, tonnage, and classification. Chapter 9, concerning the rest of the work done on the ships until they are launched in the water. Chapter 10, concerning the differences of sizes of the ships they had, their lightness, their oars, and methods of sailing, etc. Chapter 11, concerning the knowledge of Visayans about the true God and what concepts they had about divinity. Chapter 12, what kind they had of the next life, if they knew of good and bad spirits, and of souls and their immortality. Chapter 13, concerning their priests and priestesses, and how they attain this dignity, whether they have anything resembling temples in which to make their sacrifices, etc. Concerning their sacrifices, this is chapter 14, concerning their sacrifices, where, how, and for what reasons they perform them. Chapter 15, concerning their respect, their superstitious rites that the living performed in order to know if they were fortunate, and what they practiced with respect to their dead. Chapter 16, concerning their burials and burial places and the things which they interred with their dead. Chapter 17, concerning the paglihes of these Indians, what kind of thing they were, and why they were related especially to pregnant women and to those in childbirth. Chapter 18, concerning wizards, onglos, or ongo, I don't know, and other similar creatures of their antiquity, and if they still exist today. Chapter 19, if there were witches or not, and what might be those that they called barangan and talongdungan, and whether they are any at the present. Chapter 20, concerning the vices and evil inclinations of the spirit of these peoples, which are the most common and most general among them. Chapter 21, continuing with other natural characteristics of these Indians. Chapter 22, concerning the vice of drunkenness and the drinks that they have, which causes it. Chapter 23, concerning other defects of nature and illnesses which are peculiar to these Visayan and Philippine Indians. Chapter 24, concerning other diseases which are very widespread and serious here, and others which are less so than in other places.